Welcome to this movement nugget where we're going to work mobility on the lower part of the body. Your upper body and your core are going to get a little bit of love too. All you need for this is one block. And once you have that, we'll get started. So standing in a parallel position so that the inner edges of your feet are together. We're going to fold forward and bring your hands down on the blocks. Now you can bring the heels of the hands on the block for a little bit more stability, or you can come up onto fingertips, especially if your wrists don't like being in a bent position. So I'm going to stay up on fingertips for now to protect my wrists. We want the block to be roughly about 6 inches to a foot away from your toes. We're squeezing the inner thighs together, and the first thing we're going to do is just rise up onto the balls of the feet, keeping the ankles in a nice straight line over the toes and gently lowering the heels down. And then lift those heels up and lower down. So those of you who don't know, I have a huge dance background. So I'm going to call these elevates because they are that in dance. So you're just lifting the heels and you're going to elevate up like an elevator. And we're taking this a few times just to strengthen up the ankles, to get them warmed up, and to get those calf muscles working. If your hamstrings are tight here, feel free to bend the knees and lift up from there. So let's take this one more time. Now the next progression to this is to squeeze your toes and come up onto your tippy toes. You're going to squeeze up, come all the way up, and then lengthen those toes, ball of the foot, and then the heel comes down. Come up onto the balls of the feet and press into your toes, and then lower down. Balance is going to be an issue here for some, and that's fine. Take your time. We're going to just do a few of these. This starts to strengthen not only the toes, but the bottoms of your feet for strength and stability. Let's go one more time, taking your elevate and then pressing those toes down and lifting up. Good, and then lowering back down. Let's inhale and come up for a second just to take a quick break. If your fingers are tired, give them a good shake out. So the next portion is going to be more about the legs, but we're going to be in a very similar position. So starting in a parallel position, hands are going to be on the block, and you can come down to palms of the hands again if you like, keeping the inner edges of your legs nice and squozen. Squozen, is that even a word? We're going to keep the legs together here. To start the movement, we're going to start by bending the knees. You want to keep your heels on the floor for as long as possible, but eventually they will start to peel up off of the floor, and that's fine. We want to keep weight on our hands here so that your legs are not keeping all of your weight. They're not bearing all of your weight. Then from there, you're going to straighten the legs and come back to your starting point. You may find that you want to move the block a little further away, especially if your knees are hitting your wrists like mine just did. So bending the knees. We want to go pretty low, but as you come down, you want to make sure that you keep tension in your legs. So what I mean is you don't want to sit. As soon as you sit, you're losing your tension in your legs and you're going to lose out on some of the strength. So don't let that happen, and slowly lengthen the legs. We're going to take this 2 more times, bending the knees, keeping your core slightly engaged, lowering down. The heels are just coming to a neutral position. So I'm not pushing or pulling with them, and I'm keeping tension through the legs as I go. And you might feel this in a whole bunch of different places: your hamstrings, your quads, your inner thighs, your hips, your butt. It could be anywhere, depending on your body. Good. So let's lengthen up those legs for the last time. Now from here, we're going to turn our toes outward to their natural rotation so your heels are together. For my dancer friends, that's called first position, and I'll turn out so that you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to do the same thing here. As you bend the knees, we want them to track over the center of the foot. Be very careful that they're not dropping inward inside of the big toes. You're going to come down until right before you're going to lose tension, and then press right back up. We're putting those heels down as soon as possible. And I'll move the block over to the side and use one hand so that you can see a little bit more clearly what my feet are doing. So I'm bending, and I'm feeling a nice stretch through the Achilles tendons, the calf muscles, and I'm pressing through. The quads are taking quite a bit of the energy there. And lengthening through. Soft knees here, we don't want to lock. We're going to go 2 more times in this turned out first position. Weight is still forward on that block. I'm going to bring my block back now. And we go one last time, bending those legs, keep your core engaged. And then lengthen through. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to pivot our heels out to meet our toes. So you're in a parallel position, and it's about hip width, give or take. And from here, same thing. You're going to bend the knees, keeping the heels down as long as you can so you feel a nice stretch through the back of the heels and the calves. You're going to let yourself drop down until you can just about touch sit bones to heels, and then you press it back up. And again, I'm sharing weight on my hands. Knees are tracking right over the center of the foot. Slowly bending, bringing your sit bones down towards your heels, and then press it back up. We have 2 more. Go ahead and bend for round 3. Nice and slow. If you're feeling a little bit of the shakes here, totally fine. That's proof that the muscles are doing the work they're supposed to be doing. Last time in this position. Keep that belly nice and tense. Good. Go ahead and lengthen up. All right, so turn the toes out now to your natural rotation. For all my dancers out there, this is kind of a narrow second position. So my heels are still hip width apart, but the toes are out on a natural rotation. Knees are still going to track over the toes. Your heels will come off the floor here. So going down as far as you can. Don't lose tension, and then press those heels down so your quads get some nice activity, lengthening through the legs. Bending the knees, nice and slow. Heels can peel up off the floor, and then lengthening. 2 more times, bending down. Just FYI, in dance, these are called pliés. Bend, and then pressing down. And in this rotated position, you're getting some nice work in those outer hips, the outer glutes. Your rotators, to be more specific. And then lengthen through. Keep the toes where they are. Turn your heels out. So now we're in a much wider parallel position. As we do this, we don't want the knees to collapse inward. Make sure that they stay rotating outward and over the center of your foot. Here we go. Bending down for 1. Heels will peel off. Keep tension in those legs. I'm pressing it back up. And we go down for round 2. Nice and slow. And pressing back up. And we go for round 3. All the way down. Keep that tension in those legs and then pressing back up. Last one in this position. It's okay to look and make sure that your knees are tracking over the center of your feet. You may feel some things happening in your ankles here too. Totally normal. And then go ahead and lengthen up. Keep your heels where they are. Toes turn out. So now we're in a true second position. I'm going to turn sideways for a moment just so that you can see them. I am leaning forward. I am bringing weight onto this block so that I'm not doing everything back here. Okay? All right, so let's assume the position. Toes out, and we go nice and deep. Now in this position, your heels may not come off the floor, and that's part of being in this wide position. They don't actually have to come off. We're looking for the stretch through the inner thighs. And we want to try to keep the hips in line with the knees. Let's go for round 3. Nice and slow, going downward and lifting back up. And we go down again. And lengthening up through the legs. Do another one for good measure, because honestly, I lost count. It's all good. One more won't hurt us. And if this is the 4th one, perfect. Good. From here, turn the toes in. Turn the heels in. Turn the toes in. Turn the heels in. Softly bend the knees, weight onto your feet. Roll up through the spine. Beautiful. And you're all done. Feel free to shake out the arms and the shoulders. Give yourself a little shake. especially if the wrists are cranky, give them a little love. You can interlace the fingers and give a little roll around. Yeah.
And remember, move smart, feel good, stay strong. See you next time.